Welcome to SVL Free News and Views for Friday, January the 18th. We're out here at Statesville Police Department. I'll be telling you why I'm here in just a moment. But I want to thank all of our sponsors, Randy Marion, Piedmont Healthcare, Fast Fields, Key to Escape, The Escape Room, Blue Harbor Bank, Statesville YMCA, and Crossroads Cycling. We're here today at the Statesville Police Department to talk to Chief David Onley, and also about a new position with Russell Brown, who is the South Statesville Community Coordinator. So we'll be talking about this new position, which is this week, working with South Statesville and how that's going to be integrated into the police department. So let's listen to Mike Fuhrman, Chief Onley, and also Russell Brown.
Thanks, Brian. I'm here today at the Statesville Police Department with Chief Onley and Russell Brown, who's the new South Statesville Community Resource Coordinator. I think I got that right, gentlemen. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. Now, Chief, tell us, before we spend most of the time grilling Russell about his new job, tell us a little bit about the strides the department has made in the last few months in terms of community engagement, community involvement. I know the toy drive at Christmas was very successful, but just tell me a little bit about how that all came together and what's the payoff for something like that?
Well, we talked about in the beginning, I think, when we met the first time, that one of the things that I'd always wanted the agency to do is take a more proactive role in engagement with the community where I get buy-in from the officers. And I think in the past, one of the things we relied on was other organizations to put programs together, to bring groups together, and then we kind of came in on the backside and were there to give stuff out or to be there just as a presence and never really took ownership of a program. The toy drive was kind of my first effort in saying I want to start something from the ground up. We're going to own it. We divided up days where each department or division in the organization had a day, and they picked their location. They decided how they were going to set it up, and it was as much pleasure as I got out of seeing the kids get toys through all that, I got from seeing how the officers took ownership of this and how excited they were to get out, get in the community, see things. I think we hear things about how some people live in the community, but a lot of times we don't see it until we get out and engage with them, and I think they have a different perspective on the number of kids that are living in poor conditions. And that's just changed. This changed their mindset. And we've even had some groups in the department that's adopted families as a result of that toy program, where they're still going and trying to help them out, see what they need, checking on them. And it's we've got one group that's got a picture of them with the families back there on their walls. So it's been great. And that was a step where what I call proactive community policing. We're not waiting, and that's what to me ties Russell in. And where we bring Russell in, again, we've waited for other organizations to come to us, to tell us what they need. Now I've got somebody here with Russell who has the drive, who has a desire to want to get in the community, and we want to initiate things within that community. We want to initiate programs. Russell's going to be that that liaison for us to come back and tell us as an organization, tell me or whoever the chief is, this is what we need to do, this is where we need to make strides, and we're going to listen, and we're going to make those changes and try to adjust as an organization to see what we can do down there to make things better. I talk about it a lot. I probably gets tired of hearing me say quality of life issues, but to me that's what it is. And as part of his position, we're going to have a code enforcement person over with us once we get moved into our new location down on Shelton Avenue, that is going to do nothing but look at the areas over there where dilapidated housing, things that are over there that should have been addressed some time back. Well, we want to come up with a plan. We want to come up with a way that we can assist, but we also want the community to be part of that, and get them to buy into what we want to do. And that's where he comes in. Even if it's simple as creating a neighborhood watch program in each of the neighborhoods down there, bringing people together, getting feedback, and trying to move forward. And we've had these positions in the past, but they've always been grant funded. And when the grant runs out, it's hard to justify maintaining one of these positions. And I think now to actually have a full-time person dedicated to that community is going to be beneficial for us and the community as a whole. So, and we got a lot of work going forward. Russell knows that. We've talked a lot about it, and he's going to really have the ability to mold this position into what we need it to be, and we're excited about it.
Now, Russell, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. First of all, introduce yourself to the community. Maybe people who don't know you've been in the community for a good while now.
Right. My name is Russell Brown. I have a background. I've worked with the Housing Authority previously. Did a lot of things in the community then. Taught a basic computer class for a lot of the residents in public housing. Did a Father's Day initiative. Was with the Ross program, which was a program to help individuals become homeowners. So I've done a lot of things like that in the past. My background is IT, but my passion is working with people and helping people out and making sure that they have the things that they need.
Now, tell us how I know you started on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Got your feet wet at the first council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about how you've spent your time this week.
A lot of it's been spent out in meetings and some in the community, introducing myself to various people to let them know that I'm the new person in the position, and so they can get familiar with my face and know who I am. Still in the process of getting some things, so can't quite get all the information out to them right now, but and just taking in the information on the different organizations of how I can help them from different meetings I've been to.
Now, your office is going to be located in the little strip mall there where Yokefellow is.
Mm-hmm.
The city has the little building there, right? And you're going to move back into that building. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, the housing department.
The housing department.
Purchased that. We're going to use that as our office down there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And would you imagine? It sounds like it could be a 24-hour-a-day job, but would you imagine you'll work kind of flexible hours, so you're at community events that are in the evenings, but you also have some time during the day where you're available for people to walk in and share their concerns with you?
That's an idea. That's the way I look at it. It'll be flexible like that because it's important for me to be at the community events as well, but I also want to be accessible to the residents. So any concerns that they may have, they know that I'm there for them and can reach me.
You know, the chief touched on this a little bit, but I think we all see the link between people who live in a challenging socioeconomic environment and crime. I think it'd be difficult to argue there's not a correlation there. Mostly, I think what you see is the people who are victims, who are in the lower socioeconomic bracket. How do you, and Chief, maybe you take a shot at this first, but how do you really convince people, hey, we're here to stay, we care the most, we care about this community, we don't want people to be victims of violent crime, but we need you to share information with us? I would imagine things like the toy drive and these programs kind of help build some trust between the police department and the community. But in the end, what the people want to see is results and that their neighborhood is safer, right?
And I think that's where that is where Russell comes in. And that's the thing that we've talked about. You can do as much as you can down there to try to break down those barriers, but there's still a segment of any community that's not going to be open to reach out with us for whatever reason, perception, you're going to have those people that are anti-police, whether it's valid or not. And the question always comes, well, how do you reach those people? So, and that's where this position comes in, and this idea of you have someone from that community that's there, that you want them to have trust with that person. And is there a way for us to bridge that gap? Is there a way that we can engage with that segment of the community and work something out where we can improve what's going on down there? And ultimately, that's what Russell is. And you want them, if they're not comfortable with picking up the phone and calling us, pick up the phone and call Russell. Have that faith in him. Have the faith that he's part of this organization. And we've talked about also a lot that if I can prevent a crime because of what Russell has found out and knows, that's my goal. I'd much rather be there on the front end to stop it than be there on the back end after something's happened, begging for information. So there's a lot that I've put on him that we've talked about and we're trying to define the direction and see how people, what their perception is of position and what value they have and what he's doing down there, and then giving us that feedback of where we're going to go with it. Going to start small and just kind of work our way out. One of the things that we're going to get into later is understanding, the statistical analysis we do down there where the most violent crimes are occurring right now. That's the first area I want us to work, and it's about the victims. And you're right, it's about the people that aren't committing crime. It's about the people that have to live in, you talked about socioeconomic, they have to live in lower tier housing because of their income level or whatever situations. You have a lot of people down there that have lived there their whole life, and just due to declining value of their home can't afford to move out. And that's the people down there that are the true victims, and that makes up the majority of what's in that area. And that nobody appreciates that 95% of the people down there don't break the law.
Right.
It's that 5% down there that is just a reoccurring issue. And then you have, like Russell's talked about a lot, how much comes from outside of Statesville into that community and causes these situations. And it's coming up with ideas and ways to combat that, to prevent that from coming. If we know there's something going on, then have more of a presence somewhere ahead of that time and see what we can get out there and do. But we've got a lot of lofty goals for this position, and we're gonna work our way through it.
Russell, I know it's tough to look ahead into the future, but as you sit here today, if you can look ahead a year, what are some things that you would like to see have happened where you could say, hey, this has been a successful first year?
I think what Chief, to reiterate what he was saying, definitely a neighborhood watch to get the community more involved in their own community. And I think one of the advantages that I would say I have is that I'm from South Statesville. I went to Avery Sherrill, which is no longer there. It's now the shelter. But so there, like Chief said, there's still a lot of people that I grew up with that I know that's still there. So I'm trying to galvanize those people to get them more involved in the community. So a year from now, have a community watch and have a better trust with Statesville Police and the residents there, and to get them to realize that they're here to protect and serve, and that they're your friends. And I think one of the instances, like today, I'm going to one of the Head Starts, and one of the officers is already over there doing a presentation and giving some gift bags, and we have some stuffed animals that I'm gonna give out as well to the younger kids. So it's about building relationships with the parents as well as the younger people, the children. So I think a year from now, that's what I'd like to see: relationship being better, a neighborhood watch, and be able to report back to the chief some good information on people getting more involved in the community things that's going on, because it's going to take everyone in the community to get involved, because no one should have to tell you how to run your own house. You should be able to police your own neighborhood with the help of the Statesville PD.
Chief, anything you'd add to that?
No, that's the ultimate thing, and like I said just a second ago, is having that trust factor with Russell. If Russell, a year from now, if Russell's phone's blowing up with people calling him, reaching out to him, letting him know good, bad, indifferent, but he is that person in that community that they know they can reach out to if they have a problem, and we will help address it. And I think one of the things that I've even talked about with the city manager, you want to build this up to where Russell's not only identifying stuff that's related to police, but it's a quality of life issues. Is it something with lighting? Is it something that the electric department can help us with? Sanitation, Parks and Rec down there that Russell says, we need to get a program together for kids doing A, B, or C. Who do we reach out to? And that's kind of where we're getting him now, to build those connections with other organizations in the city, So he has those tools when he wants to put something together, he can reach out to those people, get them on board to have them come help put whatever kind of program together he sees would benefit down there. And you want to grow it into a citywide project as opposed to just Statesville PD. This is the start, and we want to expand upon it, and that's the direction I hope to see in a year where we're including everybody in this within the city especially, but in the whole community, that we're getting together and help and kind of spread out and do the right thing.
All right. Well, good luck, Russell. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, so there you have it, a good interview with Chief Onley and the newly appointed Russell Brown for the South Statesville Community Coordinator, and how it's going to impact Statesville and the Statesville PD. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so if you haven't done it yet, go to svlfreenews.com to sign up for your email edition, which comes out every morning at 5 a.m. And have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.